Hello, this is Katie with Homeschool Chat, and today we're going to talk about state testing. What I wanted to do was talk to you about the fact that there are different requirements for different states. So you need to do a little bit of research and find out what the requirements for your state are. If you cannot find it on the internet, then you can go to your school district. Your school district should be able to tell you, or ESD, and they should be able to tell you what the requirements are. So with a little bit of research, everything will be good. So let me begin. I teach in Washington State. So my RCW for state testing is RCW 28A.200.010, and then in parens 1 and in parens lowercase c. So if you're in Washington State, you can look that up. So in Washington State, the requirement is that you have your student tested every year. So let's start with elementary school. So for elementary school, you also have to do a little bit of research to find out what you want to do. You can actually join in the public school state testing if you want to. Most students and some parents like me did not want to do that. So I had a resource. I believe I took it all the way to that business's, I guess you'd say, retirement. But you can find other sources for testing on the internet. So I have a few suggestions to get you started. One is called Flow Testing. It's capital FLO dash capital T and testing. So it's testing, capital T, esting. Anyway, and it's familylearning.org. Let's see here. Some states require homeschool students be tested in subjects not covered by all the normal reference tests. So I believe that normally it is math, reading and language arts. I might be wrong. But anyway, there's 3. But some states require more than that. And also, I found that as I progressed on with homeschooling my children, that I wanted to include more tests to find out their aptitude in, say, science, that kind of thing. So that is also an option for the homeschool parent. A second test name that you can look up and research is called PASS. All capital letters, PASS, but it's P.A.S.S. So look that up. I have an article, and I'd like to share some of the article with you that I found. I found this information from responsiblehomeschooling.org. So the PASS test is called Personal Assessment of Student Success. It's available through Hewitt Learning, a nonprofit organization that was co-founded by homeschool pioneer Raymond Moore with a mission to equip home educators. This test, which is not timed and covers reading, math, and language, was developed specifically for homeschool students. If you choose the PASS test, you will receive a packet of papers which will include both the tests. There are multiple levels and a pretest. The pretest will allow you to determine which test level your child should take. We recommend that parents hire a proctor to oversee the test. After your child, that's your option. After your child has taken the test, you will mail the packet back to Hewitt, which will grade the test and send you a testing report. Parents receive a detailed testing report with specific information about their child's strengths and weaknesses, along with practical ideas for providing ongoing instruction in areas where the child is still developing. This is not something we have seen any other test do. I can't remember what the name of my testing was, but they did that very thing, so it was very helpful. Also, just a little bit more information about PASS. While PASS has never been administered to students in public schools, it does offer a national percentile score. As a result, many states and school districts do accept PASS tests for homeschool, PASS is the name of the test, of course, testing purposes. So that's that. And I hope you're enjoying this really fun information. It's not fun, but it's necessary, right? So we'll try to make the best of it. So this is the third test option, is called CTP. Also from, the recommendation is from responsiblehomeschooling.org. And I will read you a little bit about this so that you kind of have a summary of what it is. CPT stands for Comprehensive Testing Program. It was developed by Educational Records Bureau, a nonprofit educational records organization that serves independent private schools. The CPT is offered to homeschooled students through homeschool testing services. The CPT covers math, language, arts, and science. Students who take CPT sign up for a specific testing date or dates through homeschool testing services. The test is procured professionally online. Please note that Homeschool Testing Services also offers the Stanford 10 test. We'll talk about that in just a minute. And the question is, what sets CPT apart? Because it is used regularly in independent private schools, the CPT is more up to date than any other nationally normed tests available to homeschool students. So there you go. That's CPT, or CTP. CTP. Now for Stanford, hang on, there's one more note I have here. CTP is probably a good use for your state test, but you will have to research it, which is what you need to do with all of these tests. You need to just kind of know what your state requires and how to deal with it, and you need to choose what you want. Stanford 10 is the other one that we're going to talk about for elementary school. So by elementary school, I mean kindergarten through 8th grade. Stanford 10 is offered through a variety of different homeschool testing providers, such as Seton Testing, capital S-E-T-O-N, that is online, Brewer Testing, B-R-E-W-E-R, which is online, or Homeschool Testing Services, and it says online or pencil and paper, among others. While Stanford 10 can be ordered and completed at home using pencil and paper, similarly to Iowa Assessment Form E, and we won't be talking about that because I'm not from Iowa. That's the only reason we're not talking about that. It is most typically taken online. Parents choose a specific testing window and students complete the test online. Stanford 10 is not timed. Stanford 10 covers English language, arts, or excuse me, English language. I read it wrong. Okay, English language arts, math, science, and social studies. One more thing. My state requires a test. Can I use the Stanford 10? Almost certainly yes. The Stanford 10 is a nationally normed test and should be accepted by most states and school districts for homeschool testing purposes. However, you should research it. Okay, so now we're going to talk about two more tests. The PSAT, which stands for, I wrote it down, Preliminary Scholastic Aptitude Test. So this test, the PSAT, you can take one time a year. Your student can take it one time a year. And it has 3 forms. There are 2 forms that we're going to talk about. One is the 8/9 PSAT. 8 stands for 8th grade, 9 stands for 9th grade. And the other one is the PSAT 10, which the 10 stands for 10th grade. The regular SAT test, you have to be at least age 13. And as a homeschool student, if you are age 13, you should qualify to take the SAT test. You can take the SAT test as many times, the student can take the SAT test as many times as he or she wants until he or she graduates. There is a small fee. We took the test many times. One of the things that I kind of want to take a little rabbit trail here. A lot of homeschool students aren't used to testing the way that public school students are. Some homeschool parents don't test at all. Some test minimally. And even if you test very closely to a public school or the way a college would, it is completely different than when you go into a public situation. So the elementary school tests that we talked about, I believe almost all of them are tests that you can take in your home. But the PSAT test and the SAT test, or the SAT test, they have locations. You can look them up online. You can look them up online by searching, or the site is called collegeboard.org. So you can look up the schedule and the locations from that. Now the PSAT and the SAT tests, you will take your child to a location and there will be a lot of students there. And then they will take this test and it'll be all very serious, just like a lot of us remember taking our SAT tests. And yeah. So with homeschool students, they're not used to that, a lot of them. It depends on the way that you homeschool. So there's so many different ways to homeschool now. But a lot of them are not used to that big group, stressful, stress in the air kind of a test. And so it's a good idea to expose them to that. And of course, the first time that they do it, it's going to be really nerve-wracking for your student because they'll have no idea really what to expect. But I suggest it. I strongly suggest it. You could do both the PSAT test and the SAT test, or you can just do the SAT test multiple times. I suggest this. Not to just take it once, not to just take it in 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, but to take it multiple times. It is up to you, of course, because that's the beauty of homeschool. You have the freedom to do what you want to do. But just so you know, the more you get your child used to that setting, the better they will do on that test. Let's see. I wanted to read one more thing. This is from usnews.com. Let's see. The PSAT 8/9 test comes in 3 forms. The first form is PSAT/NMSQT and the PSAT 10. The PSAT 10 is the same test as the PSAT/NMSQT. Those students take these exams at different times of the year. The PSAT 8/9 acts as a baseline for college readiness, according to the College Board, the test maker, while the other 2 allow check-in on student progress. The PSAT is a slightly shorter and slightly easier version of a test kids will be taking their junior and senior year, explains Jed Appleruth. founder and president of Georgia-based Apple Ruth Tutoring Services. It's a warm-up. It gives students and parents guidance in terms of how they'll perform on the SAT. So that's about all I have for testing. I hope you have a wonderful day. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.